Still to come on this edition of Interface, we got a great review for a very cool product on the way, and we'll talk about some phono cartridges. That's coming up, so please hang around for that. But right now, I want to bring our guest onto the show. It is ClydeSight from ClydeSight Productions, and I put the button. ClydeSight, are you there?
I am here, JC and Scotty. How are you?
Oh, that's we're great.
We're doing moderately neato.
Moderately neato, he says.
Yeah, I don't want to go all the way there being totally neato, so I'm just going to stop at moderate.
Well, anyway, let me tell you a little bit about ClydeSight. ClydeSight is a Renaissance man. He's into all kinds of different things. He programs computers, he manages websites, he builds wonderful programs. We'll talk more about that in a few minutes. But he has a passion for restoring vintage tape recorders, which started with a very special restoration of a vintage Wallensack machine, which he's dedicated a website to. And before I let him start talking about that, I want to point out that you can check him out at www.ClydeSight.com or ClydeSightProductions.com, and that also will link you to his YouTube page and show you many of his wonderful products that he has for sale there.
Absolutely. And JC, I don't want to step on your thunder right now, but if anybody's watching the broadcast right now and you see this weird-looking snake thing running behind me, it's not the Loch Ness Monster. It's my security system. It's a 100-pound Mastiff. So she's in the office today, and she's just chasing the lights. I have no idea. It's Friday. It's weird. Anywho.
Okay, ClydeSight, tell us a little bit about your journey into the world of restoring vintage tape recorders.
Okay, well, it started with, as I say, the Wallensack, and if Scotty, if you could put up the slide number 2.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So let me get that over for you right now.
Restored it from a purchase I made on eBay because I had experience with these machines when I was a kid growing up. Well, the machine was great restoration, and on a lark I put it up on YouTube, and the response was very positive to that. So I no longer felt like I was insane wanting to restore tape recorders because other YouTubers were doing the same thing. Consequently, I started to move on with my passion. And the reason I'm doing it is because I think we need to do this as a history. We need to record this history because these machines are 40 years old and they're disappearing. If we don't record them, they're going to be gone. And, another reason is because of what's happening with young people today. They don't know what a tape recorder is. So it's similar to the problem that the archaeologists have with the pyramids and great ancient buildings. They see them, but they have no idea how they were made. So my purpose is to put up these videos, show how these machines were made, show how they work, and educate people about this technology.
Okay, and now we make this clear that all you got to do is go to YouTube and just search out ClydeSight, and it will take you to one of his videos or directly to the page, and it's really fascinating watching. Tell us a little bit about some of the machines that you've been working on recently.
Well, the most recent one I'm working on is what one of the commenters wrote in and said, it's an orphan brand tape recorder made by the SD Corporation in the United States. And SD, as you may or may not know, was a pipe organ company. They also made reed organs. Thousands of these instruments were out and in churches and in homes everywhere. Well, in the 1950s, they were getting desperate for money, and they spun off the SD Electronics Company, which then spun off a division called the SD Tape Recorder. And this thing was very, very under the radar. Only a few of the machines were actually made and sold. And I found one on eBay. I had seen them when I was a kid, and I found one on eBay, and I grabbed it because it is so rare. So that's what I'm working on right now. And it's coming together, slowly but surely.
And so you're working on that machine right now, and I know for a fact that on your YouTube channel you are posting this is a series of videos showing how it works, which is what's really interesting about what ClydeSight does on YouTube, is because of the fact that he doesn't just show the machine, he doesn't just give you a little history about it, he actually explains how it works and gives you audio tests, and lots of folks who are getting into vintage audio have commented on his videos. It's a very educational experience for anybody who's interested in sound recording or electronics. And also wanted to talk a little bit about how you've got this supported, the ClydeSight Productions website, and the fact that you are programming, selling these wonderful programs. Talk a little bit about that and how it's related to the tape recorder projects.
Well, the videos that I put on YouTube, they're what they call parallel marketing, and what they are is they're informative, they're educational, they help people. But of course, just like a TV show, you need a sponsor. So what I do is I put in little ads on every one of my videos for one of the products that I make, in hopes that people will buy one of the products, whether it's my subliminal message products, which are called DSPP, or even my science fiction novel, which is called Rusara. And the reason for doing that is because it is the sale of these products that supports purchasing the tape recorders from eBay and restoring them. And so it's really important for people to understand that I don't have external funding. Everything that I'm doing entirely on my own, and the sales of the products is what helps make it happen.
It sounds like us.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. We have all this stuff all over the screen because without it, we wouldn't have you and you wouldn't have us. So there you have it.
There you go. Scotty, could you put up slide 6?
Absolutely.
Slide 6 is coming up, ladies and gentlemen. No.
Slide 6 on your way, sir, in about 10, 5, 3, 1. I failed at math, sorry. I was really bad at math, so... now this one is cool. We talked about this a little bit earlier today. This reminds me, this reminds me of James Bond. I got to tell you, man, this is cool.
Absolutely. And JC was talking about how I show the inside of the machines, and this is an example of a little standard SR200, and it's an absolutely tiny tape recorder. Uses these little 2-inch reels. And it has this amazing drive system, as you can see on the right side picture, in this little tiny case. And when I got the machine, it was a great thing to put up on YouTube. People were looking at it. Someone else had a video of their SR200. Believe it or not, somebody else had one. But they simply showed it working. I took it apart, and I showed people in the video how it works, from the motor to everything else. And by the way, that machine, the motor... died on it, and I replaced it with a Canon motor. Works great. Are we there?
We are here, sir. Yes, and that's another thing that's very interesting about ClydeSight's videos as you watch these, is that what he has to do, I mean, for those of you who are uninitiated in how, what a tape recorder is a very complicated electromechanical device. So you have, you fell over, but are you still there, ClydeSight?
Somebody stand him up!
I'm going to rewind now.
There you go.
Okay, you're going to rewind. Anyway, what I was saying is that they are very complicated electromechanical devices, and finding schematics for these machines, actually, any kind of manual is almost impossible. He has to reverse engineer the machines, and sometimes he has to fabricate parts. Tell us about a machine that you worked on where you had to do something like that.
Well, actually, I don't have a picture of the machine, but one of the machines that I did was sold by Western Auto. I don't know if you remember those old stores. They were very popular, I think, in the Midwest and the West. And this tape recorder was a cassette recorder, and it had a mechanism that was very, very close to the Philips Norelco type of design that came out in the late 60s, including a motor that was driven by a transistor circuit. Well, the motor died, and the transistor circuit kind of didn't like that, so it went and died too. And I had to put a new circuit in. Well, the problem was that the circuit that I got from the surplus supply store had 6 lines going into it, and the one that I was removing had 5 lines going to it. And so I kind of had to figure out what I was going to do about that. And so one of the tricks that I like to use is, I believe that we have a tremendous amount of knowledge that consciously is stored. And if we can go into our subconscious minds, we can access that. So usually the dream time is the time to do that. So just before I went to sleep, I just said, I'll dream the answer, and when I wake up, I'll know what to do. Well, I woke up the next day, I went in to look at the tape recorder, and it was almost as if somebody was guiding me. My hands were moving, and I was watching it, and I wired up the circuit right the first time when I put it in.
Amazing. Yeah, that's one of the things that me and ClydeSight have talked about. We've been working together on projects for almost a year now, and it's very funny when you're doing these things because I restore. One of my hobbies is restoring cassette decks, which from the 70s and 80s. He does 60s and 70s, and I do 70s and 80s, and he does the portable machines, and I do the nice hi-fi decks.
I got an iPod.
Yeah. Anyway, and
yeah,
I feel like Charlie Brown over here. Everybody's got like these cool like tape systems and turntables, and I've gone completely digital on my side.